Buenos dias, good morning. I hope remote learning is going well for you. We're a couple weeks in, and so we need some new tools here to assess our students, to communicate with them. Some of us are doing live instruction, some of us are doing pre-recorded instruction. But today I wanted to show you a quick way to do some formative assessments with your students. I know a lot of times in our classrooms where we prefer to be, some of us have little cards students hold up for a formative assessment, a hand signal, and some of us have whiteboards that students hold up with answers and responses. So I found this cool tool online called Whiteboard.fi that's meant for use in a live class session. Each student has their own whiteboard, and they can respond to you, and you can see it right there in real time. Before we get started, I do just want you to know that this is not meant for a pre-recorded lesson. This tool, Whiteboard.fi, is for live class sessions only. You can't save student responses, and it's not meant to go back and do later. It's right there for students with you right then and there in that live class. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to show you how to do this. You're going to go to whiteboard.fi, and then you're going to click New Class. That's what you would do as the teacher. When students go to join, they would go to whiteboard.fi and click on Join Class. There are a couple ways to join, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. But for you, click on New Class, and you're going to name it. I'm going to choose McNeely Example just for the sake of this tutorial. And then you'll click on Create New Class. Okay, so it pops up here. You see there are two tabs, My Class and My Whiteboard. Under My Class, until a student gets in there, it has a URL that you can give your students to log in, or you can just give them the code, right? And when they go to whiteboard.fi, they would type in the code. This code is C4A, so students would go to whiteboard.fi, just like you and I just did, and they would click Join Class and type in the code C4A. Okay, so my friend Ashley is helping me with this today, and you can see she just logged in. This is the class. She's the only one in the class right now, but if there were more, Ashley's whiteboard would pop up here, another student's would pop up here, another one here, etc., etc. Right now, Ashley doesn't have anything on her board, and that's good. And then you're going to click on My Whiteboard. That's your whiteboard as the teacher. Okay, so you can write whatever you want on here. There's the pen tool over here in the top left, the pencil. You can write. If you have a touch screen, it'd probably be a lot easier. Okay, you can choose the thickness of your ink, if you will, up here at the top, and then you can use the eraser to erase, or you can do what I like to do and just press the clear button down here at the bottom. Okay, I don't have my touch screen right now, so I'm going to use the type tool over here at the left, the text tool, and you can click and just start typing. I'm going to ask Ashley a question. I'm a Spanish teacher, so I'm going to type it in Spanish. ¿Cómo estás? Which means, how are you? I'll write in English as well. Okay, and that just appeared on Ashley's screen. Okay, ¿Cómo estás? How are you? If you go over here to My Class, you'll see Ashley's response here in just a second. It should pop up. And as you can see, if you click back over here on My Whiteboard, it's still there. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? And you can see that Ashley just responded good. She used the text tool to type out good. You can pop out different student responses, right? If I click on Ashley's whiteboard, it makes it big. You can take a look at it. You can present this to the rest of the class when you do this. I'm going to close that out. Go back over to My Whiteboard. I can press clear. Just some other examples you can do here. You can draw shapes, a square here. You can do connecting shapes. Here, let me do a little triangle type deal. I don't teach math, but there's that, a little, I don't know what you would call that, some type of shape, right? And then that would also pop up over on Ashley's whiteboard. And if she wanted to draw something back, she could. I just thought this was a good tool that we could use in the classroom for those of us doing live sessions. And then when you clear your whiteboard, it clears the students' whiteboards as well. And there you go. Now, you're thinking, oh, well, how do we control what students write on their whiteboard? What if they're doing something inappropriate? Because we all know that happens. You can erase their whiteboard by clicking that button, and whatever they have will disappear. Or if they're being inappropriate, you can kick them out. Okay, I kicked Ashley out. You can see that she's now gone. She was the only student in my class, right? So now that pops back up with that URL that you send out to students. When you do kick a student out, they get a message on their screen, and this is what it looks like. You were kicked. You were kicked from the whiteboard class. There was probably a good reason for this, ... right? Obviously, there was a good reason. We wouldn't kick them out if there weren't a good reason. Anyway, that's just a way for you to do a formative assessment with your class. Again, this is for live sessions only. There are tools you can use to record a whiteboard lesson, and I'll share those at another time. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me here on Facebook. Thanks.